Audio only. What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us, 865-658-5824. Joining alongside Tim in Green Bay. Emilio will be back in here in a second. He just dropped in just a second ago and said, man, it wouldn't be right if he didn't pop in late. That's just how he rolls. So first things first, though, let's give a shout-out to the great folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. Wisconsin's largest ticket source. They got offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. You can also click on the link in the video description here that'll send you to theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start looking around at those Packers tickets. Get yourself squared away for one of these second half of the season ball games. It's going to be absolutely awesome. We got 5 division games coming up, I think, in the second half of the season. It's just going to be some great football down the stretch. So if you decide to hop into that arena and check it out in person, make sure you check with Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, Tim, how we doing today, bub? I know we got a big game coming up this weekend. I'm excited about it. We'll talk about, everybody's already what we expected. Everybody picking the Lions to win it. Keep doing it. Please, God, keep doing it.
Yes, feed me more of this. I love it. I love being the underdog. And it's not underdog. We are the underdogs because we have some dogs on this team. I'm fired up for Sunday. It's going to be a wet, sloppy, sloshy, rainy, brisk autumn day at 12:65. It's going to be beautiful. I'm already on my way to Cabela's to grab a rain slicker for the game because it's going to be a wet one. And I think it will affect both teams, obviously. And it should be a great battle on Sunday at Lambeau.
It kind of feels like, too, people struggle with the surface at Lambeau that are not on the Packers team. Yep. And I kind of feel like we've got the better running game, maybe. Do you agree with that? Do you think we got the better running game than Detroit? Because they got the best offense in the league, I think most people are pretty much saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if it's so much about better. I think we're as competitive, if not better. Sure. I think both teams have strong running games, obviously. But I do think the elements will play a factor. And I, for one, think a slow grind of a game battling in the trenches in the rain favors the Packers in this matchup. That'll kind of quiet down any hot offense. If you get out there and it's slick, you've got issues gripping the ball, you're slip sliding around the tundra. So I'm all for seeing Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, the boys doing their thing out there on the ground. So I think we can hang with Detroit's run game, but you have to give respect, to your opponent, man. They do. They have a smoking hot offense right now, and a lot of this is going to come down to our defense in this ball game. So we'll see how it plays. Yeah,
they're leading the league right now in points per play, and it looks like they are actually 5th in the league in yards, or actually tied for 4th in the league in yards per rush attempt. Green Bay is currently 8th, I think, in both those categories. So it's going to be the battle of 2 top 10 offenses. It's going to really come down to, we say it every week, turnovers, right? Emilio, how you doing this evening, bub?
I'm good. Cut it close, but I made it. For the Lions, I was thinking that they have a good Thunder Lightning pair, and honestly, I'd probably give their run blocking to their front 5 over our front 5. But I do think that, like Tim was saying, it is a competitive battle. I think I might have to give them the upper hand just for now. I think Matt schemes it better, definitely. But I just to their front 5, I think we have a little bit left to be desired from, our interior a little bit.
Yeah. Greg Ross in the chat said, I see Emilio has his camera on, but I don't see him. Is he wearing camo? So, yeah. This time of year, Emilio, you got to break out the camo, right?
Oh, as soon as that time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That and Carhartt, and you're good to go.
Exactly. All right. So we got a lot of stuff to cover, man. I mean, a whole lot of stuff. We're going to hit the Patreon group for some questions, comments there here in just a few minutes. Trying to stay organized and kind of hit on the things that are most important right out of the gate. I wanted to touch on this, which I thought is cool. So NFL Nerd, you guys know it's one of my favorite Twitter follows, right? At Nerding on NFL. They put out the playoff picture. It's never too early for me to start talking playoff pictures. I absolutely love it. So with 10 weeks to go, this is how the playoffs currently sit. In the AFC, the number 1 seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. The number 2 seed, you got a cat over there.
Yeah.
Number 2 seed is the Houston Texans. Number 3 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. Number 5 is the Denver Broncos. 6 is the Baltimore Ravens. And number 7 is the LA Chargers, currently how the standings sit. Now, when you hop over to the NFC picture, you've got the Detroit Lions in the number 1 spot. You've got the Washington Commanders number 2. You've got the Atlanta Falcons 3. Arizona Cardinals 4. Green Bay is currently the 5th seed. The Minnesota Vikings are the 6th seed. And then the Philadelphia Eagles are the 7th seed. And yes, the Bears officially have dropped out of the playoff picture currently as far as actually making the playoffs if they were to start today. I also like how they got the draft order listed over here to the right as well. You got as far as in the order in which the draft picks will fall based off the rankings right now across the league. Number 1, Carolina Panthers. Number 2, Tennessee Titans. Number 3, New England Patriots. Number 4, the New York Jets. And number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's kind of how the draft picks sit right now as well. So any comments on that, guys? Again, I just want to hit this stuff as we go through the season so we can kind of stay fresh on our mind. All right, here's how the league's shaking up.
No, I think especially looking at the AFC, I mean, kind of the usual suspects, right? Couple surprises in there. And again, this is, 10 weeks to go in the season. So the way too early, the premature playoff picture, if you will. But I think when you look on the AFC side, a lot of those teams are going to be in the mix. And that very well could be the teams that are in the playoffs. And maybe the seeding changes, as the records change. But that pretty much looks like the dominant forces over there. And then on the NFC side, I mean, same thing, maybe a little bit more interchangeable pieces when you look at, the NFC West and the South particularly. So you could see maybe the Cardinals drop out of there, and as maybe San Francisco gets back on track or the Rams get back on track. But the Falcons, it doesn't surprise me to see them up there. I had kind of preseason predicted them to be kind of a dark horse contender in the NFC out of our division, and they've been playing pretty good ball, pretty steady this year. And then, of course, what about that Washington football team? Those Commanders are something's clicking over there. Dan Quinn's got those guys balling. So the NFC playoffs are going to be entertaining as hell, and more proof that every game matters here as we walk into this huge divisional matchup. Every win counts because it could be that one loss that separates you from another team in your conference. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. We thought the NFC North was going to go 4 wide in the playoffs. At least I was kind of, hoping for it, just not as a love for the Bears, just as a cool thing. But like you said, man, it's crazy how much difference there are in those teams that are at the top of the draft board, and then the teams that are all basically sitting at 5-2 or 6-2, 5-3 ish. And what was it? Pat Mahomes and Malik Willis are the only quarterbacks left that are undefeated. Is that right? So, I mean, we just got to keep that in our back pocket, and
That's interesting.
We'll just stow that one away for a little bit later. But, let's fight the Lions for first and, try to make them come through Lambeau. I think it's, a good spot to be in compared to where we were last year.
Yep. Absolutely.
Daryl in the chat said Green Bay is more a number 3 team than a number 5 seed team in the NFC. Completely agree. But again,
but if they go play in Atlanta, Clayton.
It's interesting. Very interesting. So I understand completely what you're saying there, Daryl, for sure.
Maybe we play well enough down the stretch that Atlanta's got to come here and play.
Oh, so you get to go to the game, Tim, and we don't?
There you go.
Yes, exactly that.
I will shell out a lot of money to go to Atlanta. Man. I will. It'll be worth it for sure. Go over there, tour the Braves ballpark while we're in town. Grab some dinner over there at that nice little complex.
Nice aquarium.
Football. Oh yeah, let's do it all. Right.
Coca-Cola Museum.
Yeah. Rob Domofsky tweeted out, no Jordan Love on the practice field. He rode an exercise bike during team stretch and did not go outside with those practicing. Also, 3/5 of the starting offensive line did not practice. Walker, Jenkins, and Myers. All right, I don't think anybody's really too concerned with those 3. I think they'll all 3 be ready to go. Same with Josh Jacobs, Jair Alexander, and Evan Williams. All did not participate. Of those 3, the main one I'm concerned about is Evan Williams. I kind of feel like how no one's releasing too much information there. That's probably the one that you're going to want to look out for as far as the injury report goes. Now, also, Rob Domofsky tweeted out Jordan Love on how realistic it is for him to play on Sunday's game against the Lions. Quote, I think it's realistic. Said he could play without practicing this week but that's it. Not ideal for trying to play a game, end of quote. All right, so that's kind of his take on it. And then, of course, Matt LaFleur was asked about it. Rob Demovsky tweeted out, Packers coach Matt LaFleur on Jordan Love, who did not practice. Quote, take it one day at a time and see where he's at by the end of the week. He's moving around better. We'll push the envelope on that. Said Love could, quote, potentially play without practicing. And then Rob also tweeted and attached to that, Quay Walker has cleared concussion protocol and will return to the starting lineup per LaFleur there. So Matt LaFleur did confirm Quay Walker will be starting at linebacker this week. Now, the real question becomes, when we talked about the snap count earlier, I think I've still got them here. So Eric Wilson obviously played in place of Quay, got 57 snaps, absolutely balled out. Matter of fact, I think we've got a stat for him, and I'm going to turn it over to you guys here in just a second. I was going to save this for later, but since we're talking Eric Wilson, PFF Green Bay Packers says Eric Wilson among linebackers over the past 2 weeks, 86.5 PFF grade. That's fifth best in the league. The only linebacker in the top 10 of both coverage grade and run defense grade over that period. So when you think about, okay, Quay is going to start, and that's the message, I would much rather see Eric Wilson go out there and give him another shot as the guy who's going to get the 57 snaps. So essentially what you had is Eric Wilson get 57 snaps. Then you had Isaiah McDuffie with 38. And then you had Edgerrin Cooper with 34. So here's the question. Does Isaiah McDuffie drop completely out and Quay replaces Eric Wilson, and then Eric Wilson kind of replaces Isaiah McDuffie? It's all going to come down to game planning. We know that, where they like their matchups at. I think that's the three I would like to see out there for those 30-some plays at a minimum. Me personally, though, man, I want Eric Wilson or Edgerrin Cooper to get the majority of the snaps there at linebacker. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I want them to stay on the field the entire time. And we'll explain why here in a minute with Edgerrin Cooper, because my man won Player of the Week in the entire National Football Conference. But what do you guys think about all that? I know it's a lot of information, injuries in general. How you feeling?
Go ahead, Emilio. You take this one first.
Yeah, so happy that Jordan Love's at least on the bike, keeping it moving. He's not stiff. He's not, stationary. That's huge. Happy that Quay's back. Matt kind of said it as like, is Quay back? And he was more along the lines of, oh, he'll start, So I think that he would take that 57 spot. And honestly, I would maybe drop out McDuffie or rotate McDuffie and Wilson. The problem is you're going to drop it was 38-34 for Isaiah and Coop. You could split that between three and they all get 20 apiece, but then then you're still kind of rotating, and I think I'd rather have Wilson or Coop for the speed wise against the Lions, but happy that at least we're looking pretty good on the injury front, and staying as healthy as we can for already being, this late in the season. We got our bye week coming up, so we can get those nicks and bruises out of the way and then just make the run to the playoff.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I look, going back to what Clay said about McDuffie, keep an eye on his snap count these next few weeks. Obviously, we have the bye after the Lions game, but I look at this, linebacking core. I mean, we just brought in another linebacker, another stacked backer. And,
right.
I feel like Quay, Wilson, Cooper, hell, Tyron Hopper. We haven't even scratched the surface with Tyron Hopper yet when you're looking in the future. And I just think about a guy like Zay McDuffie, and you're right, Clayton. It's like, where does he fit into this equation long term? And you don't want to get ahead of yourselves halfway through a season. You want to go with the best formula for success right now. And Zay McDuffie's played a lot of quality snaps for us and is a good player. This is not a bash Zay McDuffie fest, but bottom line is their reps are reps, right? How many guys can you get into your rotation, and who's the most effective 3 or 4 that you're really going to use consistently down the stretch? And, I do think McDuffie can contribute, especially on special teams. We've seen him on teams. He's great. There's a lot of, different roles, perhaps some third down situations. You never know, but I'm with you, Clayton. And I'm sure Emilio agrees too. I mean, it's Eric Wilson and it's Edgerrin Cooper right now is the big show. And then you obviously hope Quay gets back on his feet and starts to play, his best ball here as we hit the halfway point of the season.
Right. And you're still going to need McDuffie. I mean, like you saw, Quay got hurt, right? It's someone, Wilson could get banged up, Coop could get banged up, anybody, any of that could happen. So it's not like we need to get rid of them. And that's why you still bring in the depth just to see if we need to bulk it up.
Yeah.
But everyone's got to be ready.
Yeah, that's what I was saying is like watch the snap counts because I think Clayton's onto something that maybe guys just kind of leapfrog each other on the depth chart temporarily as you find your lineups for each week's matchup. But I agree, man. Zay McDuffie is a valuable piece on this defense for sure.
Yeah, and it's all going to come down to personnel. That's the main thing, right? And I'm trying to pull it up here, offensive personnel tendency. Let me just go to Detroit. I won't put it on the screen, but I'll read it off to you guys. The reason you've seen those 3 linebackers have so many snaps last week is because they played a ton of 12 personnel. Remember, we talked about like 20% personnel. So now you got to ask yourself, what does Detroit do? And will it meet that 20% threshold? Will it be more? Will it be less? The Detroit Lions actually run 12 personnel 34% of the time. So you're going to get even more linebacker snaps. So what you're going to have is probably what Matt LaFleur was referring to there. These linebackers here, where you see Edgerrin Cooper at 34 snaps, that's probably going to go up to like 40. Mm-hmm. You know, the linebacker with the third most snaps will probably go up to that 40, 45 range, I would imagine, because they're going to run a crap ton of it. And again, Detroit may look at the game plan and go, no, we need to attack Green Bay with 11 personnel. And that might go from that 30, 35% down to 15%. Like, it just depends on the game plan. You got to be prepared for both angles for sure. But let's see here. HTE, we'll just leave it HTE, says in the chat, what are everyone's thoughts on the new linebacker on the practice squad? He's talking about Jamin Davis. So what I did was pull the tape from Washington here, and we'll just watch a few snaps. See right here, 3-point stance. So he played edge defender. He's number 52, and he was outside linebacker / edge defender, okay? And this was this year's tape, okay? So you'll see him rushing the quarterback. It was him right there with the tackle. I think he's 52, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
He made the tackle. Wow, he got blown off the ball there.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here we are again. I think he's on this side now. So you see him. 4-point stance, edge defender. He's a defensive end, essentially, in this 34 defense that they ran. Nice run stop there, right?
That's a quick move. Got inside him.
These are his tackles. So this is going to look somewhat like a highlight reel. Don't take this as, man, this guy's a stud, right? He's a physical freak, don't get me wrong. But again, you see him right here, edge defender again. I'm pretty sure that's him over here. And he's going to roll off and get in there on the tackle. All right. So why do I mention that? Again, I just wanted to show maybe 3, 4, 5 clips and show you where he's lining up for Washington or was lining up for Washington. And essentially, he was an outside backer. I think this is him right here. He's standing up this time. Now he's going to drop into coverage, though. All right. Again, making the tackle. So the reason we pointed that out is because Anthony Campanelli was asked today at the presser. And thank you so much, HTE, for asking that question. Matt Schneidman said, he tweeted out, Packers linebacker coach Anthony Campanelli says new practice squad signing Jamin Davis is playing inside linebacker here. Campanelli talked with Davis before the 2021 draft, in which Davis went in the first round. Campanelli said you could tell why Davis went first round after today's practice. Here's what this could be. I'm thinking on the positive side. You guys know I'm a Kentucky fan. I never seen Jamin Davis as an edge defender, as just a strictly pass rusher. To me, he was a hybrid at best when it comes to rushing the passer, but he felt more like a stack backer to me. So now you're taking him where they try to fit a square peg into a round hole. He still may not pan out in the league, don't get me wrong. But
I was just going to say, do you think that's why things probably didn't work out in Washington?
It damn sure didn't help, right?
Yeah.
So fresh start, get him at stack backer, see what Camp can do with him. I like the fact, start him on the practice squad, right? Ease into this. And if something happens like Emilio, or maybe it was Tim that said you get an injury or two, pull him off the practice squad. You got a former first-round pick who has NFL experience doing something he wasn't comfortable with, now playing stack backer. Could be the recipe for greatness, man. Could.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think those NFL reps are key because, I mean, we have Hopper. We could go to him, but he's got special teams reps. He still hasn't taken a defensive snap yet. So I think we want a little bit more time, a little bit more knowledge of the NFL game, being in defense.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else on that, Tim? Anything else you want to add before we move on here, bro?
No, I mean, just all the faith in the world in Coach Camp. If anyone can unlock this guy, it's Coach Camp and Jeff Hafley's schemes. So fingers crossed. Let's see how things play out.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do with another Kentucky boy, man. It's obvious they really like picking talent out of that program, though. And the fact that they went out and signed him tells me they probably had a pretty darn good grade on him for them to go, hey, you know what? Let's cut this dude loose. What you did was upgraded the linebacker position on your practice squad, and you're always looking to improve. But Blake B in the chat, good to see you, buddy. He says, J Love is playing. My heart is officially set on it. If he can play damn near 100%, yes, let's do it. If he's not 100%, I just don't want to risk. Here's the thing. The best of my knowledge, he strained the groin. Okay. You've got strains, pulls, then tears. A strain kind of day to day. All right. A pull 4 to 6 weeks. A tear probably done for the year. Okay. So that's where you got to really focus on, okay, is it worth it to march him out there 1 week before the bye, right? When you've already won a bunch of games that you were not supposed to win with the backup quarterback. If you march him out there. And
in the elements, again, remember, in a monsoon game, yeah.
If he goes out there and goes from a strain to a pull, and now you have to throw him on 4-week IR, me no likey that, Jan. You know what I'm saying? So I'm leaning toward, unless he's 100%, and I mean 100%. Let's don't get too far ahead of our skis here. You guys agree with that, or am I being too conservative?
What the hell was that?
That was Clayton putting a stomp on the on Jordan Love not playing if he's not 100%. That's exactly what that was. I'm not standing.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
All right. Anything else on that? We good, boys? We good?
No, yeah. I'd rather probably run Malik if Jordan's not 100% too.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Malik, man. If you guys did not hear his
you got to go listen to
his
it.
locker room presser, I was going to play it, but I don't want to risk getting hit with a copyright or anything. But go to Packers.com and watch it. Go to their YouTube channel and watch it, and it's worth it to listen to the first minute and a half and the last minute and a half. It's absolutely awesome. Professor Cakes in the chat said, "Go play in Atlanta just like in 2010." I'm here for it, man. You guys remember? I remember the Wayne Larrivee call. What was it he said? Not since God. What general was it in the Civil War? Not since was it Sherman? Maybe not since Sherman came through here in the during the Civil War has the South seen such destruction or whatever it was. It was just absolutely awesome. We need to go pull that clip because Wayne Larrivee is just he's the man.
We have the best radio guys. We do.
We really do. No doubt about it. Jack in the chat says, "Can't believe this will be Detroit's first outdoor game this season and don't have any more till week 16 or 17. That's crazy." That's one thing, man. You guys know I'm not like I'm a traditionalist, and I try not to put when there's rules based around health and protecting the players, especially when it comes to brain injuries and the whole CTE thing. I have done a complete 180. I'm like, hey, look, we got to take this stuff serious, right? But there's nothing that pisses me off more than football in a dome, man. It drives me absolutely insane. I'm telling you, it is like I will. You know, Mandy's tried to get me to go several. Hey, let's go and watch it. It's in a dome. I ain't going to a dome to watch a football game. I ain't going to do it.
Yeah. We're like Coach LaFleur, right? You know,
sit your butt outside
in the element.
Get outside, man.
Like no, it's just football is meant to be played outside. Like it, you know, and like I know you went to Atlanta, Emilio, and we will go to Atlanta if they're in the playoffs. Obviously, we'll try to make that happen. Right. But they can open that roof up, right? That's a little bit better.
It was close. It was close when I was there.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't know that they could open it, but it was close. They were launching stuff off the rafters. But you're right. You don't get that same feeling. You get the feeling walking in when you got thousands of people, you know, coming across the road and parks and everything. But you get into the stadium and you're just looking at lights, basically.
Yeah,
I believe that's you guys probably don't care, but both Aaron Judge and Jazz Chisholm just hit home runs. Packers.
Oh, Yankees!
Yankees are up 3-0 right now. So if you guys did,
yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Last night was a blast, just watching them come back. You had the crazy fan try to rip the ball out of the guy's glove. It's just like, welcome to the Bronx, baby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's the most New York thing ever.
Anyway. Guys want to listen to Packer talk. I apologize. I got sidetracked there. Jason Y with the super chat. Appreciate you, bud. He said, thoughts on potential trades before the deadline. I'm not the big trade guy, Jason. I'm very boring in that regard. And maybe it's because I've gotten used to the Packers never hardly making the trades, you know, at the deadline. Could just be that. But I'm I'm all for upgrading the team. I will tell you this, as I've gotten older as a fan, I used to be the guy that just absolutely coveted draft picks. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, you can go get a Chase Young for a 3rd-round pick or something like that. Sign me up. Because when you've got a proven talent, and I'm not saying Chase Young specifically, and he might be Dookie right now. I don't know. But when you've got someone who's a proven talent at the NFL and you're willing to, okay, we'll give up this pick to go get a guy that, okay, this guy can be an immediate contributor, I think it makes all the sense in the world. I used to didn't think like that. I had that Madden mentality of like, well, I'll be able to draft an absolute stud in the 3rd round. It doesn't work like that, right? It just doesn't happen. So if you can throw a name out there like, hey, look, we can get him for this pick, I'd be more than happy to answer you and say, yeah, I'm on board. But as far as like combing through and trying to read the tea leaves and say, okay, this player might be available for the Packers, that player might be available for the Packers, I'm just personally not that guy. What about you guys? Any trades on your mind? Anything you'd like to see them do? Thoughts on potential trades here?
Not really. I got a feeling I know my team, and I think we may not make a move. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make a move at all before the deadline. I think sometimes the best move is no move. If nothing that, really strikes your fancy is coming across the table. We've heard, murmurs and rumors that there have been calls made to the Packers about receivers and other guys on the roster. And, the reports have said we've been completely unresponsive, as I would expect us to be. I don't think Goody's going to take the time to cook in the draft like he has these past couple of drafts and, make the moves he's made in free agency and build this squad just to start ripping it apart and, making moves here hurried up before the deadline. So honestly, I don't anticipate anything coming, but I've been wrong before. I'll probably be wrong again. So who knows, but there's nobody really on the radar to me that I think we need to bring in. So I don't see Goody giving up draft picks just for the hell of it. I don't know. What do you think, Emilio?
I think that's a great point because, like you said, Goody's done a great job in the draft. And I think that the way he set up the team, he didn't set it up to go buy in the middle of the year. He didn't set up to have a bunch of money sitting there left over. I mean, we had to get Jordan's contract taken care of. And how are we building this team up to that point? I mean, that's why he turns the bottom of the roster in the offseason. That's why, we talk about all those changes. I mean, we were trying to decide what of the 93 we were going to cut to make the team, right? So if he needs something out there, I feel like he's seen something or he's got an idea for it. But yeah, if it's your window, your only chance, and you need somebody, fine, pull the trigger. But I don't think we need something right now. And I know people are saying, we could flip Preston. I mean, for what really? I mean, see
how he played on Sunday.
Right, he's a better veteran presence. He brings it. He's consistent. I wouldn't want to trade that for somebody that's come in, learn Hafley's defense now. And all the next steps that you'd have to do when you bring someone new in.
So true.
And there's multiple layers to it too. And thank you, Jason, for the super chat. We appreciate you, Ben. So Bill Belichick was talking about this the other day. Like somebody traded for Chad Uche, or what's his name? Is it Chad Uche? Josh Uche, I think is his name, from the Patriots. And he said, yeah, I mean, you get a good player, you get an edge defender that can fill right in and start for your team. And then if you like him at the end of the year, you re-sign him. If you don't, you let him walk and you pick up at least a six round comp pick. So you literally traded a 6th-round pick for Uche. He comes in, fills a starter role, and then at the end of the year, he walks in free agency. You get that 6th-round pick right back. So you're renting him for free. There are aspects to the trading process that takes place like that makes sense. But as far as Preston, I think I want Preston on this team. That's just me personally.
Yeah, me too.
I think he plays an important role. And one injury down, let's say you trade Preston for a corner. And then you have 2 edge defenders go down with an injury, and you're screwed at the most important position.
Aaron Mosby, your time to shine, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm more worried or interested, I should say, in keeping those premier positions, those tier 1 of importance positions, stock heavy, right? And right now you kind of got a boatload of potential at the edge defender room. And to the best of my knowledge, we're the only podcast that's talking about on tape how they're not just turning these dudes loose. There are specific pass rush rules that they're following to keep these quarterbacks in the pocket. and on every single play, there's one or two guys that are really pinning their ears back and going while others are protecting rush lanes. That's what I'm seeing on tape.
Right.
And I'm listening to other people break it down, and I'm going, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But, boy, it's when we look at it on tape, you can look at a guy and go, yep, he's not going after the QB right there. He's just kind of playing patty cake and got his eyes in the backfield. But nonetheless, the right trade, I'm on board with for sure. Coach Lynn says J.C. Horn from the Panthers, praying emoji. So he's big on J.C. Horn being on the market
The
potentially.
Panthers are not going to have a team, man. I mean, they got rid of McCaffrey. They just get rid of everybody. And, at some point we'll just draft enough to make the team good.
This is what we talk about, not modeling your organization, right? You've got to model your roster. You've got to say, okay, we need this, this, and this at these key positions. This stuff we're willing to let go of, and that's how you build a strong roster. That some of these people, it's exactly what Belichick talks about. Rather than ready, aim, fire, it's ready, fire, aim.
Right.
It's just like they don't have a clue what they're doing, and most of the time it's because they don't have a football guy at the top. Now with Carolina, they've got the former linebacker as their general manager, but like Michael Lombardi points out, he was in the room with the past GM, and they just basically promoted someone from within. It sounds like David Tepper just wants people to be – he just wants yes men in the GM position. Like, if I want this player, I'm going to go get him. Okay, GM, what do you think about that? You're going to lose your job if you disagree, but what do you think about that? Oh, you agree? Great. Let's go get him. Not a good look, man. That's why they're picking number one in the draft every year. It kind of sounded like Mel Kiper, didn't it? Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway? Ari Ironminer says, we are fine with no trades. I agree with that on the surface. I really do.
Heard it from a fan right here.
We wouldn't be 6-2, right? If we needed, if we needed to trade for an impact player, we wouldn't be 6-2, and a close 6-2 at that. I mean, we could be 7-1. It's not too much.
It's like the ever intelligent butt cheese says here in the chat. If we make a move, it will be one Goody can't refuse, and I agree with that.
Yep.
Respect Orange says, I'm okay with trading away Dillard. I'm sure some teams will get desperate for a left tackle. If the answer for your swing left or for your backup left tackle isn't Andre Dillard, I'm on board with that. If he's so far on the depth chart, like who is our backup left tackle right now? We haven't seen, right?
Kadeem?
Yeah. So is Kadeem over him on the depth chart? Do you feel?
I don't know. That would be my guess, but my boy Glover is ready to roll whenever he needs to.
Damn. This guy, man, he would start Glover over Zach Tom at right tackle. So, yeah, if you're telling me Dillard isn't our backup left tackle, absolutely, man. I'd be cool with trading him away, picking up a pick, right? So,
Jordan Morgan played a little tackle. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, here's the thing. Zach Tom could kick over there. Elton Jenkins could kick over there. It's just not ideal, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, Jordan Morgan played that his entire life until he got to the Packers. But it's definitely not ideal for the situation, It would be kind of cool. It wouldn't be cool if Rashid went down, don't get me wrong. But if Rashid had to miss time, it would be neat to see Jordan Morgan just kick right over there and dominate. Yeah. Oh, my God, that's your left tackle of the future. That would be really cool. So
clearly they saw something, though, there, and maybe it has nothing to do with him playing left tackle and everything with him being needed elsewhere on this line and just where he fits in, Yeah.
Right. Eric Sutherland says, day 3 at the University of Michigan's Children's Hospital could use some well wishes for my son. This is rough, folks, but Packers talk helps keep my mind a little less overwhelmed. Thanks, Phils. Hey, Eric, sorry to hear that you're going through that, bub. Whether you're a believer or not, buddy, I'll be praying for your family tonight. And if you need anything, if there's anything we can do, you let us know, pal. Anything at all, okay? And like I said, man, we're thinking about you. And if we can get on here and act stupid and talk a little Packers and cheer you up a little bit, that's what we're here for, man, for sure. We appreciate you always hopping on the stream. You tell little man, we're with him. We're with him in spirit, for sure.
Definitely.
All right. Let's see. There's something else here. Since we were talking backer, actually, we'll come back to Edger and Cooper. Right? Let's get to the chat here from the Patreon group. I want to hit on some of this. We kind of fell behind. I apologize in there, guys. So first things first, Fractal of God asked the question, who is the best quarterback in the NFL this season? Do you guys want to answer that before I provide some data? Is there anything that comes to mind, a player that comes to mind for you guys that you think, I think he's probably the best quarterback, or maybe the top 3 quarterbacks? Who would you
Jordan
think?
Love and Malik Willis.
So who's the third best quarterback, Tim? Let's ask you that way. All Don't you dare
man.
say Sean Clifford either. All right?
That's a tough one, man.
It
you know,
is.
there's some guys that are playing some really good ball right now, and guys that normally play really good ball that aren't. So it's kind of an interesting, league that we have. Interesting season. I don't know. I guess guys like CJ Stroud come to mind. Josh Allen, another guy playing well for the most part. So yeah, but you know me. Call me a homer. I don't care. I'm rolling with Jay Money and Malik Willis for sure. Those are my top two.
Who comes to mind for you, Emilio? Anybody?
Obviously, Jay Money, but if we're talking like if I'm actually going to try to go off, an idea of where they're at playing, probably be Josh Allen, like Lamar, and
Lamar for sure.
I mean, I don't think it's Pat Mahomes. Who else? Oh, Joe Burrow's cooking, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, according to PFF.
Yeah.
So your top 5 in the NFL, according to PFF, is Lamar Jackson at a 90.5. Guys, he is your front runner for MVP right now, no questions asked. Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy. What's crazy is Baker Mayfield's having a hell of a year, but PFF doesn't agree necessarily. 77 is good, don't get me wrong, but he's 14th. Look at Malik Willis at 13th. That's just wild. These are PFF grades for those of you on the pod here. So, again, your top 5 according to PFF, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy. Now, if we were to dig into the stats just a touch and just go with just strictly passer rate, and we can look at some of the other stats as we got it pulled up here. Lamar Jackson leads the league at a 115.4 passer rating. Jared Goff, 115.3. Josh Allen, 107.6. Sam Darnold, 107.2. Joe Burrow, 106.5. And then Baker Mayfield at a 104.9. Obviously, Baker Mayfield leads the league right now in touchdown passes with 29, and he's got 9 picks. So
you got to talk about Jaden Daniels, right?
No,
yeah.
he's a dog.
I mean, we can't not talk about Jaden Daniels. I mean, is this guy the truth, or is this just like rookie phenom, first year darling kind of thing, or
he got all those extra virtual reps, Tim. He
just gives me hope. He gives me hope for the skinny guys. He's like built like me out there, running around slinging that humming that tater around the yard all day. It's fun to watch, man. Yeah, Jaden Daniels, man, certainly one of the top tier for sure.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels was my favorite quarterback of this draft this year. Obviously, Caleb Williams was higher on our draft board just based off the data, but they were right there in the same tier. I mean, real close. I want to say Jaden was Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels. Caleb Williams was in a tier ahead of Drake May and Jaden Daniels. And when I watch the tape, it's like Jaden Daniels is the guy that I would like. I think he's a natural-born leader. He's gotten better every year that he played in college football. Every year he improved. And you're looking for that guy that shows that steady improvement. Totally the opposite with Caleb Williams. Great year the year before, then had a setback. So it's kind of like, makes it a little iffy. But, yeah, Jaden Daniels is a dog. I think he's a real deal. I really do.
Shout out to the chat bringing this up. Where the hell is Jared Goff on that list?
On which list? The PFF?
The PFF. Where do you see Jared Goff's name here in the top 15?
Yeah, sometimes they do have errors where a player, their grade won't show up. I'll go check real quick and tell you exactly what his grade is, and we can add him in. I don't know why it happens like that sometimes, but you'll notice that there are some players that don't pop up like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he's not popping. He's not even in the top 23 on the list. It's almost like it gets skipped out of the database or something unless you go straight to the page. But go ahead. What were you going to say? Were you going to say something, Emilio?
No, I was just saying about Jaden Daniels. He took or he works with a VR company about getting extra reps mentally. So he puts on the helmet and goes through processing a defense and things like that. He said it was on a Move the Sticks podcast, and I was trying to pull it up, but I think he got like 4,000 or 5,000 extra reps virtually just processing, defensive changes and things like that. And they're wondering, that's what helped them, lead them to the Heisman. And they're wondering if that's something that, younger generation and, even just moving forward, being able to mentally get through that process quicker and be able to see things. Because they said that you can add to it, like a coach can add their play, add, different things. It's probably still, in early stages, but add different things, see different defenses, and it helps him clearly.
So
and Jared Goff is a 66.8 according to PFF.
that's crazy. And
Yeah.
Detroit's probably the most efficient offense right now.
Yep.
And when you look at the stats, Jared Goff is lights out statistically. I mean, you're looking at a 74% completion percentage, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, a passer rating of 115.3. I don't know what's up with the PFF grade.
What was it again?
But his 66.8, I think, is what it was. So that's pretty wild to think about. And I bet they're catching hell. I bet if you go to Twitter and type in Jared Goff PFF, there are people madder than hell over there. I guarantee it.
They're over there.
65%.
65%. That's what I don't know why that broke me up. All right, Trevor Anderson in the Patreon group said, am I the only one that thinks they could be a better commentator than those on TV? As soon as Love got hurt, I said it's his groin, and they talked about his knee until halftime. Great win, go Pack, go.
Here's the guy.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I got to be honest with you, Trevor. I didn't notice the groin. I just noticed him limping. Now, obviously, when you start limping after an MCL has quote unquote healed, typically it's something that's kind of led to that. We've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. As far as the commentators, though, man, I understand it can get annoying, but I tend to have a lot of respect for former players. That's just me. And I think I'm in the minority there. I want to shut up and hear what former players have to say about how they're seeing the game.
Yep.
But I think commentating would be fun. I really do.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Fractal of God said it's not his groin, it's his knee, in my opinion. Obviously, it ended up being the groin. Fractal of God said, question for the show. Can you guys explain what is a can play? Real simple.
Right, who's going to go? Can. Who's taking it? Let's go.
Yeah, we talked about it on Chalk Talk all the time. A can play, you've got a play call and a secondary play call, okay? So basically, when you come to the line, when they call that play in, they give the quarterback the first play and then the second play. And when he gets in the huddle, he'll call it out like that. He'll call the first play, the second play. You know the first play is the play call. And then if you get to the line and you don't like what you see, or you get, like, in some cases, you get the look you're looking for to be able to can out of that split flow play into that dragon wheel where they hit the 51-yarder to Jaden Reed to set up the game with a field goal. Can, right? You're telling everybody across the formation, across the offense, forget the first play, let's go to the second play. All right, that's what that means.
That's what a can is, yeah.
And a lot of times people think that they can only can out of a run to a pass or out of a pass to a run. That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes you'll have 2 pass plays called, and you'll come to the line, and you'll get the more advantageous look for the second call, and you can to the second pass. So most
you've got alerts based off of those too. So you've got
Absolutely.
guys that can go hot. You've got, a can within a can almost, so to speak. There's different variations of those play calls.
Yeah. And it's, again, we get mad when people blow assignments, but it's understandable how guys blow assignments.
Yeah, that's why the whole dumb football player quote never made sense to me, because you can't play in the NFL if you can't process the game. There's so many things to know during the play.
It's like you only got 2 audible options, on Madden. You're sitting there, you only got your inside zone or your spacing, but you can only pick one of the 2. But obviously you can have 2 passes, 2 runs, whatever. But
you could change a dig to a post, or you could change a go to a dig. Yeah.
But you can't call 4 plays in the huddle and run out there and say, all right, I'm going to go with number 3, and then have them remember what number 3 call was. And then, so, you got to keep it simple, but also fluid.
Yep. And that's when you really see LaFleur in his bag. You'll see him calling things because he knows, our quarterback is going to look at what that defense is doing when we come up to the line. And then, we can from there. Or like Clayton said, sometimes it's not just pass to run or run to pass. It's pass to a different pass or a different look.
Yeah. And for those of you listening on the pod, that's going to do it for hour 1. We'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all.
Wonky.
Yeah, wonky.
Okay.
Hi, hour 2. How are you feeling?
Hey, that sounded kind of seductive there. Hey, hour 2, how you doing?
Ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
How do you like your eggs in the morning? All right, next question. Dave Colvin says, Packers are 6-2 with the Lions before the bye week. Knowing what we know now and given the choice, do you sit Love for the Lions game and give him the extra time to heal and try to get him closer to 100% after the bye? I'm in favor of him healing up and lowering the risk of more injury for later in the season. Team still plays well with Willis. I've pretty much been very vocal about this. My standing is if Jordan is not 100%, let's sit him. Let's go around the horn with that real quick, guys.
Yeah, sit him if he's not 100%. I mean, it's the first game against the Lions. We're going to have another shot, and I could care, a lot less. I'd rather have him 2 weeks of rehab.
Yep. And I have a lot of confidence in Malik Willis, and so does a lot of the fan base. I think we're all unified in that respect, at least when it comes to the fan base. I don't see too many Malik Willis haters out there. But let's be real. If Jordan is not 100% and we play him, we're just going to probably see what we saw last week. He's going to play a series or two, and he's going to tweak something or slip, and it's going to hurt, and he's going to come off the field. So. Right. And like Jordan himself said, it's not ideal to not practice throughout the week and then just go out there and run the calls and run the game plan. So I think we're all in unison here. I agree, man. I think if Jordan's not 100% good to go, then you bring Mr. Willis out, let him go to work, let him cook, let him go to 4-0.
Could you imagine what happens if he wins though?
Oh man. I'm telling you, I believe we're capable. That's I said that from the beginning when we were doing post game that whether it's QB1 under center or QB2, I'm confident that we can take down Goliath. Everyone's we already saw the picks, right? All the experts are picking Detroit. Nobody on earth except for the Green Bay Packers believes that they can win this game, and I'm with them. I think we can. And we'll do it like we've done all year long, which is as a team and finding a way to grit it out and get a win. If it's a close grinder of a game, this may favor Malik Willis out there. If we got to do RPOs, RPRs all day, quick passes, quarterback scrambles, whatever it's got to do to manufacture yards, this team's willing to do it. And I'm confident that we can win this divisional game with or without Jordan Love for sure.
Yeah, and since you mentioned it here, everyone other than the Packers are expecting the Lions to win. Lion King at Lions Royalty on X tweeted out #OnePride game preview picks. Daniel Jeremiah has the Lions winning 35-31. Colleen Wolfe has the Lions winning 31-24. Adam Rank has the Lions winning 24-21. M. Grant, whoever the hell that is, has the Lions winning 30-20. Bucky Brooks has the Lions winning 28-21. MJD has the Lions winning 30-20. G. Gordon has the Lions winning 32-25. Nick Shook has the Lions winning 30-27. Edholm has the Lions winning 26-23. And Patra has the Lions winning 24-20. I love it. I absolutely love it. There's not a person on the face of this ball of mud that's spinning through space, supposedly. Let's put that out there for those flat earthers. So, look at Emilio. Get awkward down there.
Oh, man.
There's nobody on the face
Emilio hit him with the...
There's nobody on the face of the earth that thinks the Packers can win this game, and I love it, man. I'm infatuated with flat earthers because I'm more infatuated with the people that don't believe because I love bringing it up and go, hey, what do you think the earth's flat? Man, they freak out. It is hilarious watching people respond. Emilio, you've seen it firsthand at a party at JC. I love dragging people into it and go, hey, tell me, y'all think the earth's flat? They lose their mind. It
just walks away.
Yeah, exactly. Put a quarter in them and walk away. So last question here. Trevor Anderson says, pretty wild reality of the difference a kicker like McManus can make. A very real reality is that I think he's saying a very real reality is that without him, we could easily be 4-4 on a 2-game losing streak. And with him the entire season, we could have potentially beat the Vikings and be 7-1 right now. Kicker is always undervalued until you don't have one. Go Pack, go. I think it's a fair point, Trevor. I do. But if ifs and nuts were candy and butts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, right? There's 1,000 different things that can go wrong in a game. Yeah. And when you just pick one thing out and say, this is the reason this happened, it's very, very misleading. I'm not saying you're doing that, but when you try to focus in on one specific aspect of the game, when there's literally what we've come up with every week for Chalk Talk are typically 14 plays that you go, that was a key play. That was a key play. That was a key play. So to just kind of pretend that, man, if we'd had this kicker, we'd be undefeated. I can't. I've watched too much football to subscribe to that. You know what I mean? I just can't.
I like that last part of his statement, though, because that's
always
100% truth that the kicker is always undervalued until you don't have one. Yep. We just literally lived through that, and we're on the other side of it, and we made it. Yeah. Thanks, McMoney. We appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Any comments on that, Emilio? No flat Earth talk here.
Yeah, no, we can. What can we talk about the moon? No. Besides that, Jerry Jones said it earlier. He said yesterday. He said yesterday is as dead as Napoleon. All right, you can't do anything about it. You can't bring Napoleon back. It's not happening. So just keep moving forward. And that's where, you built the team earlier in the year. You thought it was that way. All right, cool. It wasn't. We made the decision. We moved forward, and now we're going to chase a playoff hunt and move forward. So it's not like we can't always look back on it. We can learn from our mistakes, but we can't change them.
Yeah, there you go. Very well said. Again, shout out to everybody in the Patreon group that contributed there. And if you want to join our Patreon community, just scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to Packer Fan Total Access on patreon.com. And if you join one of the 3 tiers, you'll be entered into our giveaways, just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the channel. We appreciate y'all over there. It's always a good time kind of tapping in to that little community and seeing what's on the forefront of their mind. I'll tell you what's on the forefront of my mind, boys. That's Edgerrin Cooper. Jacob Morley tweeted this out. Again, go give Jacob a follow at Jacob Morley on X. Edgerrin Cooper is the first Green Bay Packer rookie to post. I'm going to say it again. In the history of the Green Bay Packers, it's the first rookie linebacker, Edgerrin Cooper, to post 8+ tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, and a pass defense in a single game. That was per the Packers dope sheet. Boys, anytime something's happened for the first time in how many years, Tim? How many years?
105, 104, something like that.
This is not a fluke. Yeah. And you keep seeing it every week. There's mistakes. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be mistakes. Every football player in the league makes mistakes, right? But when you got a guy that's making that kind of impact, forcing turnovers, that pass defense covering the seam in that Tampa 2 after he not just mugged the A-gap, but jab step, mugged the A-gap and dropped back, man, that is not normal. That is, I'm going to say it, that's Derek Brooks top stuff. Go back and watch Derek Brooks play Mike linebacker in that Tampa 2 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 90s and the early 2000s. Telling you, man, that's that type of play. He could fall off a cliff tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. But what we've seen so far, you got to get this guy on the field and keep him on the field.
He's a freak of nature, man. You've got the hit stick ability of a linebacker, hard-nosed defender, and he runs and has the athleticism of a corner or a top-tier safety. And it's just fun as hell to watch him play football. That's really what it is. We're having fun watching him do this. And, much like we saw with Evan Williams, dear sweet Lord, please let Evan Williams be back in the lineup soon, too. Another one of these great rookies that we have that have this incredible ability to be solid form tacklers, tackling the open field. If you get a guy running by himself and it's a one-on-one, they're making that play. And then, oh, by the way, I can run, 45 yards down the field in a full sprint, and get a PBU. I mean, this is just another masterclass in draft picks by Brian Gutekunst for sure here. And I'm just damn proud that Edgerrin Cooper's a Packer.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Emilio, he's getting attention as the Green Bay Packers tweeted this out earlier. Cowboy Coop. I don't know how I missed this fit on Sunday, but Edgerrin Cooper. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely awesome.
I'm about to go hog hunting, man. Come on now.
Got the Western vest on with the button up tucked in to the blue jeans with the belt buckle and the old cowboy hat. My man got the boots and all. It says Cowboy Coop. Everyone say hello to Week 8's NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He was the best defensive player in the entire NFL, Emilio, in Week 8.
In the entire NFC, right? Or NFL?
NFC, yeah.
NFC, yeah. But hey, he might as well be. Let me see what the AFC did, and I'll tell you if he was better in the whole NFL. So, but I love the fit. That is a nice get up. I'd like to see how. I bet Tucker Kraft probably ran over and took that hat from him right away. Started running around the locker room with it. But yeah, we talked when we first saw him when we drafted him. Start, stop, shoot. He's got the speed. He's got the explosion. We were looking at Jeremiah Trotter or Junior Colson, all those guys. I'm happy that we got Coop. They know more than we do, and I'm glad they do because he's really showing up, showing out, and it just gives us more material, more ammunition on our defense to keep guys fresh. I mean, if he's not out there 57 snaps, he's coming out at 100% for his 34. So I love that we have that option and we have that skill and speed there.
Yeah, and the AFC Defensive Player of the Week was actually T.J. Watt. 7 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and he recovered the fumble. So you got the forced
So just
fumble.
another day for T.J. Watt.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't have a pass defended. Obviously, it's 2 different positions there, as opposed to stack backer to edge. But think about that. Yeah. We just had to compare a rookie linebacker to T.J. Watt and say, did he have a better week than him?
Right.
It's pretty wild. I think we're in good company there. So again. He is thick. Adrian Cooper, NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Man. That's awesome. He looks like he's early for the game or he's late for a cattle auction. One of the two. You just got to love it.
Country is cornbread too, man.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so we kind of talked about some of the key injuries earlier. So let's wrap back around and look at the entire injury report as we get ready to gear up for the Detroit Lions here this weekend. On the Packers side, this is the Wednesday injury report. Jair Alexander with the knee did not participate. Corey Ballantyne with the ankle was limited. Kenny Clark with the toe/shoulder limited. Josh Jacobs with the ankle did not participate. Elton Jenkins with the glute did not participate. He must have pulled a butt cheek. Jordan Love, quarterback, with the groin injury did not participate. Josh Myers did not participate. Quay Walker still in concussion protocol, I believe, if I remember correctly, but he was full participation again, so he's good to go. Obviously, Matt LaFleur already said he's going to be playing this week. Rasheed Walker with the knee injury did not participate. Evan Williams with the hammy did not participate. And then Devontae Wyatt with the ankle was limited. The main one I'm concerned about right here on this entire list, other than Jordan Love, of course, is Evan Williams with the hamstring. Other than that, I really expect all these guys to play. I mean, am I off base there, guys, or do you see it the same way?
I think so. I think that's a fair statement. And I do believe Quay is out of the protocol. I think that's why he was full participant finally. I don't know if we can confirm that or not, but like you said, coach said he's going to play. He's going to play.
So he is out of concussion protocol.
I believe he cleared the protocol. Yeah. And then Josh, that wrist thing, that's 2-3 weeks of this now already. So tape it up, ice it up, take a Tylenol, go play football. Same old same, right? Devontae Wyatt, probably the same deal with the ankle. He looked pretty good out there on Sunday. I think he's going to be all right. And I would agree. Other than Evan Williams, Josh Jacobs, the ankle, that's new. I know he was dealing with a back, I believe, earlier in the year. But the ankle, I don't know when that happened, if that happened Sunday or whatever, or just maybe a nagging injury or something. But that would certainly be a concern because if we're without him for some reason, it's going to make that uphill battle against the Lions that much more difficult. So hopefully you're right, Clay. I'm with you. I think everybody on this list plays. The big question mark being Jordan Love and Evan Williams.
Yeah, and I could have swore they were saying that Jacobs was just feeling a little banged up after a couple of the runs at the end there, and he said he could have gone back in, but they just held him out just to play it safe. So I would think that if that's the case, he could have gone back and played in that game. He's probably going to play this week unless he has a setback. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, I would just like Ja to feel a little bit better. Whatever's going on there with how he landed funny and tweaked it, and I'm happy Quay's back. Besides that, it's kind of gonna hammer itself out. I think a little bit later on in the week. By Friday we'll have a better idea, obviously. But not bad.
All right. So as far as the Detroit Lions injury report, man, it's just as full as ours is. Actually looks a little worse on the surface here. There's only one of these players on the list that's full participation. That was Broderick Martin, defensive tackle with the knee. He was full participation. Other than that, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players, it looks like, that all did not participate in practice on Wednesday, right? Did not practice. Yep, every one of them. Got Taylor Decker, tackle, with a chest injury. You got Graham Glasgow, guard, with NIR rest. Obviously, that's just veteran rest, so he will be good to go. Jared Goff has got a banged-up ankle right now. Did not participate. Keep that in mind, right? Another veteran rest here was Levi, defensive lineman.
God bless you.
He'll be playing. So it looks like a lot of these are veteran rests, actually.
Yeah.
Josh Paschal, however you say his name, defensive lineman, he's got an illness. Frank Ragnow and DJ Reader, both were veteran rests. Then you got Malcolm Rodriguez, the linebacker from Hard Knocks a few years ago. If you guys remember, he kind of stole the show. Ankle injury, did not practice. And then Sean Vaki, running back.
That was the Utah safety. Come on now.
Yep. So he played safety and running back. He's listed as a running back here, right? So interesting. Knee injury, he did not practice. And then Kevin Zottler, guard, also have veteran rest. So on the surface, it looks worse than the Packers. But then when you take out the veteran rest here, they've actually just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the injury list that did not practice. So interesting. Yep. We'll keep our eye on that as we move forward there. So Jared Goff's the main one there with that ankle, obviously. So,
yeah. That's something we didn't talk about too. You obviously don't gun for someone and try and get them hurt or anything, but you got to think if the team knows a quarterback's dealing with a lower leg issue, whether it's an ankle, a knee, anything, you got to think they want to turn up their pressure a little bit. And even if it's just to get that guy moving around in the pocket and putting pressure on that bad leg, it's more of a strategy thing than a targeting thing. But I think that's something to watch. I mean, if Goff's got a goofy ankle that he's been dealing with, he's not a spring chicken anymore either. And by today's standards in this league. So if we can get him having to move and not be comfortable back there in that pocket on Sunday, it'll be interesting to see him deal with the elements with the bum ankle.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's what their entire starting O-line, except for their other tackle. Yeah. So you might as well get them all rest. Obviously, Taylor had the chest injury, but that's probably why they're decent. They don't work too hard in the during the week and save all your energy for the weekend and just move people. But we got to just come out strong against them.
Yep. Well, the Yankees bats are alive and well. They're up 5-0. Holy cow! Everybody,
there we go.
Going yard this evening for sure. All right, up next on the docket here, Bucky Brooks, obviously used to play for the Packers way back in the day, was a scout in the NFL. One of my favorite guys. I know, Emilio, you like Bucky and Daniel Jeremiah's podcast, right? That's one of the more knowledgeable podcasts you can listen to at the NFL level for sure. This got X'd out, tweeted out, whatever you want to call it, from the Green Bay Gobbler, all right? Didn't we beat Houston, ? But top 10 rankings according to Bucky Brooks. Number 1, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, the Detroit Lions. Number 3, the Houston Texans. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers, just ahead of the number 5, Washington Commanders. Then number 6, you got Minnesota, 7, Baltimore, 8, Pittsburgh, 9, Buffalo, 10, Philadelphia. Bucky Brooks is really, really high here on Green Bay. Pretty darn cool that he's got him in the 4th spot. Kind of goes hand in hand with whoever the viewer was earlier that had mentioned, even though the Packers are listed as like the 5 seed, they're really closer to like maybe the 3rd best team in the league. Right. I could see how some people would put the Packers over Houston, but in my opinion, just because you beat somebody head to head doesn't necessarily mean you're the better team any given Sunday. Yep. I can understand why someone would put Houston over.
We beat the Lions on Sunday. I bet you we jump up the list next week.
Right.
No doubt about that. What do you guys think about this, though? Green Bay number 4. You think that's fair, too high, too low? How you feel about it?
No, I think that seems pretty accurate. It's great to be in the top 10, right? And, Bucky Brooks knows ball. So, I mean, this is not just some schmuck putting together a list. And it is fair. I mean, it looks like 5-5, right? You got 5 AFC teams, 5 NFC teams. I mean, that's just basically the way the cookie crumbles. And that could change by the end of the year. But I think this is a pretty accurate list based on the tape I've been seeing. I don't follow all the other teams as much as I follow the Packers, but, we break down film and we take time to research opponents and do prep and stuff. So based on what I've seen this season, this seems like a pretty accurate top 10 list, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, because I was trying to go through, if Washington lost to the Bears last week, they probably aren't here, but maybe they are, right? just because of that one loss at the end there, they still kind of outplayed the Bears. Vikings on the 2-game skid. You got the Pittsburgh, just won but lost to Dallas. So I think we're in a good spot. Houston lost Stephon Diggs, so that's tough for them. I know his third string or whatever, but
they're going to miss that 28 yards a game and 3 catches, right?
Right, yeah. all the coverage he's drawn, but I like you said, Tim, I think we beat Lions. We're talked about, but we were fighting just to be considered in the top 10 in the offseason. Once they finally put us in the top 10, we were happy. And I don't think we're going to leave there, for a while. This year and moving forward, honestly, we got a nice core. We got, we're kind of humming along.
Last year, we were the team that kind of came on strong at the end and shocked the NFL. And, oh, look at how great. Wow, nobody ever thought this team full of first-year players, blah, blah, blah. We knew the narrative. Well, now, no, we're not sneaking up on anybody. I think there's enough on tape. I think the league knows who we are and what we're capable of. And I think that's why you're starting to see the Packers pop into these lists more and more when it comes to the power rankings, too.
Yeah, Fred McFarley in the chat says 3 NFC North teams top 6 is crazy. It is wild to think about. Some would think that Chicago belongs up there too. I'm too drunk to taste that chicken currently, but I could see where the argument can be made because again they took Washington.
Suck.
I mean that was a fun game to watch. So by the way, we got hit with a copyright the other night. Check this out, guys. We got hit with a copyright, not a strike, but we basically Good Morning Football got the monetization from our video because we showed the guy's Twitter that showed the end zone shot of the Hail Mary. This guy tweeted it out. We gave him credit. We showed the video live from Twitter, right? And because Good Morning Football showed it on Good Morning Football, the AI bot tagged it as Good Morning Football content, so we had to take it down. Ain't that amazing?
That's convenient AI tagging on YouTube, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting, man. And again, it's another reason why. Well, Fred McFarley hit it in the chat. We don't have to hit it.
He knows what we mean.
You got other options. Rumble's out there. We got X out there. You can always watch us anywhere.
And if something ever happens, you know where to find us. We're still going. There were so many people reaching out to me, go, why ain't you been going live, bub? We ain't missed a day. We just been on other platforms because things got really weird really quick. But it is what it is.
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
That's got something to do with it, too. Fred McFarley also said the Lions hang banners for division wins. Enough said. Very good point. I love it. Holmes MD1 in the chat says it will be raining heavily on Sunday. Detroit is a dome team. We know them well. Matt LaFleur will run the ball down their throats and control time of possession. No, the Bears are not near the top of the league. Facepalm emoji. All right. There you go.
So we won our last game against Detroit, right, in November last year. Then we've had 4 losses against them going back to January of 2022. And then we had a 5-game win streak going back to October of 19. So we've it's 6-4 in the past 10 matchups, but the past 5 were 1-4. So I think Matt wants to definitely get that spun around for sure.
Absolutely. Definitely. All right, cool. Anything else on that? Top 10 rankings according to Bucky Brooks. And again, I try to pick these out when it's people that know what the hell they're talking about. I'm not just going to grab the analytics nerd on this random website that has his top 10 rankings. This is a former NFL player, former NFL scout. That somebody actually got in the comments on Twitter and said, yeah, but if it was anybody other than Bucky Brooks, I might listen. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, oh, my God. The Twitter dude with 13 followers knows more than a former NFL scout. This is a wild time to be alive. But I didn't say that. I just moved along because we keep it positive on X. That's what we do. All right. Thank you, Coach Half. The awkward. All right. Just a quick refresher here. PFF Green Bay Packers tweeted this out a couple days ago. The highest graded Packers in Week 8 versus the Jaguars. Again, we're going to bring it back full circle as we start to dig into the Lions game. Tucker Kraft led the Packers at an 82.5. We had Eric Wilson at an 81.1. Malik Willis at a 78.6, Josh Jacobs at a 76.1, and Jordan Love at a 74.6. How about two of the top 5 players being quarterbacks on the Packers roster? That's just wild, man. That is absolutely wild. So, like I said, just a quick refresher. Also, a couple key statistics I want to get your all's take on. I think it's kind of cool. This was sent out by Jared Smola at Smola DS on X. Packers first read target shares over the last 3 games per at fantasy points data. Romeo Doubs leads the Packers in first read target shares, meaning he was the first read on the play call and the ball went to him, okay? 25.8% of the times when Romeo Doubs is the number 1 read on the pass call, he's getting the ball 25.8% of the time. Number 2, Jaden Reed, 18.2% of the time. Number 3, Christian Watson, 15.2% of the time. Dontavion Wicks is 4th at 13.6% of the time. And Tucker Kraft is 5th at 9.1% of the time. This looks really good, boys. Like this is, I'm so happy with this because Jaden Reed's kind of that big play, popper there. Romeo Doubs is just kind of steady Eddie. Keep Romeo Doubs as that number 1 read, and then wait for Jaden Reed to pop open on those crossers. So I really like that. And the fact that Tucker Kraft is higher than the 5th best receiver on the team says a lot about what the tight end's doing there at 9.1%. What do you guys think about that? Surprise you at all? I know it's exciting to me, though, to see Dobby step up the last 3 weeks.
Doesn't surprise me a bit. Romy Rome in the house. I love it. I absolutely love it. Mr. Reliable. It makes a lot of sense. And to your point, Clayton, I agree. Like when he's the first look and you got guys like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson, putting in their work. I mean, you give guys like that, like especially Scoot, give them time to hit that second move and hit the afterburners. Maybe you're looking through your progression. Maybe Rome's not there, but that's okay. He's drawing attention. These receivers play very well together. I think that's one thing we've seen over the last 2 years as we've gotten up to this point with these young receivers. And it doesn't surprise me at all that Rome is excelling in this category. He's just so reliable. I mean, he had the one drop on Sunday, but hey, that happens to everyone. It's part of football. You just don't want to see a guy doing it consistently. And Rome is not that guy. He's sure-handed, late hands, like you always say, Clayton. When he's covered, he's not covered. If there's a football-sized window there, Jordan's going to put that ball there. And, I believe Malik Willis will be making throws like that too. Based on what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to throw everything but the kitchen sink at these Lions on Sunday. So I'm looking for Rome to step up again real big.
Mm-hmm. And this is the past 3 games. That includes his one suspension, or are these 3 of no suspension? I can't remember.
Well, it says first read target shares over the last 3 games. So let's see. Has he played 3 games since the suspension, or just 2 of them?
That's all I was trying to figure out.
He's played 3. He came back against the Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He was suspended for the Rams game.
I was going to say, imagine if it was 25%. You didn't even have to like. Okay, now we got a number to work with. But yeah, you're right. It kind of runs smoother once we go through Romeo. And finding those looks is what's key. You got to scheme it up for a number 1 at some point. You got to scheme it up for your slot. You got to scheme it up for your tight end that keeps the defense honest, and it keeps you're changing levels on the field and locations that you're moving that ball around. So Matt's in his bag.
All right, love it. Now, Tay Wicks, you see him here, right? He's 4th, 13.6% of the time he gets the targets when he's the first read on the play. Look at this separation chart here. Again, this is from what is it? Fantasy Football Data. I think. Let's see. Data is Fantasy Points Data is the name of the website, okay? I just want to give a shout-out to them. So what you've got here, weeks 1 through 8, minimum of 75 routes. On the left, you've got man coverage win rate running vertically, zone coverage win rate running horizontally across the bottom. You got Dontavion Wicks coming in at a win rate in zone coverages at somewhere around 18%, it looks like. And then on the vertical side of the chart, against man coverage, you got him somewhere probably around 50% win rate. So he is just absolutely killing it. Now, some people will go, okay, what's that mean? Up and to the right is the most balanced, dominant separation win rate, okay? And essentially what you've got is 3 receivers who have separated themselves. You got A.D. Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell, who's a rookie, if I remember correctly, one of the higher wide receivers going into this year, if I remember correctly. I know was it this year or last year? Am I thinking right? It was this year. So he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th best receiver on our board. I remember specifically Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks raving over A.D. Mitchell. So he is hands down the best receiver on this chart. Next is Dontavion Wicks. And then after him, Brandon Ayuk. Pretty damn good company to be in there, boys. I'm telling you, if Dontavion Wicks gets the drops handled, this guy is going to be Tay Adams. It's going to happen. He's just got to get the catch stuff down. And in the meantime, as he's dropping passes, he's just catching touchdown passes. That's all,
Right.
So,
and he's tied with Tucker Kraft for the most touchdowns on the team right now. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Actually, Tucker's got 5, but Dontavion Wicks has got 4.
4, okay. So, I mean, so people that have been saying that Wicks isn't doing anything, that's not true.
Not true at all.
I'm going to just hop out there and say that. But I love that we have 3 of our starters right up there in that up and to the right. Tim was probably about to hit it. We got Rome. We got Christian. Both can beat man. Both can win in zone. And Tucker's down there in the bad categories, but that's because he's lining up head up against somebody, or he's starting behind the line of scrimmage, things like that. The only one I was trying to take a peek at was Jayden Reed, but a little tight in there. So I'm sure we got him on there. And we're lucky that we got 3 great receivers.
Yeah, I like what you said, Clayton. That like Wicks may have had some drops, but he's catching tutters. He's making the big play when you need it, and he's not quitting on routes. He's still playing hard. You could say the same thing about Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed has had a couple drops lately. Balls that were catchable that he probably should have had, but boy, he caught that tutter wide open in stride, no problem. And trust me, these professionals make that stuff look easy. Malik Willis made that throw look easy. Jayden Reed made that route look easy and that catch look easy. It's not easy to catch a ball over your shoulder. I don't care what anybody says, especially when you got a defender in your hip. So just shout out to those guys for playing through drops. I mean, if you got a guy dropping multiple passes week to week to week, he's not going to be on the field. You're not going to have to worry about him for much longer. NFL, not for long. If you don't perform, you're not gonna take reps from someone else that might be able to get it done. So it's important that these guys play through it. And I love that mindset that Jordan has, like when he throws a pick or makes a mistake, he doesn't let it eat him up. And this team just continues to play through adversity and roll forward and make each other better. And I love it. Emilio's right, man. We're lucky to have this receiver core. We really are.
Yeah. So these are the 4 touchdowns for Dontavion Wicks. We come back to it here. Actually, let me go back one. So this first one was against, I think it was the Colts. Is that right? Yeah. I think this was a flood concept. He's going to use a little zipper motion and then come back. Playing F right there. Look at that break. Perfect throw by Love on the money. Or actually, no, it was Malik Willis with that throw. That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
And again, the Lambeau leap. Here's touchdown number 2. This is against the Vikings. Let's see if we can find him. That looks a lot like Flyer, too. I think he might be playing Flyer on the bottom down there. So you see Rome kind of motions over. So this is Tay Wicks right here. Let's watch the route. Oh my gosh,
dude. It's his feet, man. It's his feet are everything. I just can't stop watching his feet when he plays. Look at the feet.
Sound like Rex Ryan in here. Look at the feet, Emilio.
I mean, this guy.
Look at that poor corner. Opens his hips. I'm going to cover.
No. Look at him. He put him in a blender. He didn't know where to go.
He said, I'm just going to go over here and pretend like I'm supposed to cover him.
Oh, dude, why'd you cover him? I was supposed to get him.
Yeah.
It's a great route there. That was touchdown number 2. Here comes touchdown number 3 against the Vikings as well. This is 11-yard variety. So it looks like Tay Wicks is now up top. That would be boundary X. Probably just call it X. It might be closer to the boundary, but he's playing X receiver up top. Let's watch this route.
Straight
You can see Jordan just locked on him the whole time. Oh, beautiful, dude. Absolutely beautiful.
I mean, that's 3 or 4 defenders, really. I mean, in the area.
All right, that was touchdown number 3. And then touchdown number 4 was against the Houston Texans. Let's see if we can – we know which one this one is. Right down here, baby. He's playing Z here. They've got actually the Y flex. So we're going Z left, and we're just going to slap that hand away, cook them on the deep route, late hands touchdown.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah, so that's 28 of the Packers' points. Well, 24 of the Packers' points this year was scored by our boy Dontavion Wicks. So, all right, that's it, guys. We're done. Anything else y'all want to hit on, man?
You got anything, Emilio?
I don't think so. We do have a tough game coming up, right? We can't take the Lions lightly, but it's also, maybe they're thinking they're just going to walk over us. Is it a trap game for them? It's a show up game for us. Definitely. It's a what you're made of kind of game. And we just don't want to I like how we don't have to talk about them going out there and just not quitting, because it's not that kind of team. They're going to show up and perform out there. It's just, are we going to have enough to get the W is what it's going to come down to. So I'm excited to see him play, get back home. And a little bit of sloppy weather is perfect football weather for me. We got the 425 or 325 game window. It's eyes on us, man.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says Jacobs is a mutter. His mother was a mutter. His father was a mutter. Jacobs is a mutter. So, hey.
In a mutter, he says.
Run him early. And I want to see some Chris Brooks, too. I want to see a little Chris Brooks pounding the rock on Sunday.
I want to see them all. Run a strong toss right to Tucker Kraft. I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Tucker Kraft back there at the tee. We ain't scared.
I want to see the fake toss fullback dive to Travis Glover, man. Let me see that,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He said, yeah.
Mrs. Green said here, I hope Malik spends some extra time with Romeo. Got to find that trust and chemistry. Boy, could you imagine if he creates a little chemistry with Romeo? Oh, my God.
Yeah, he said, Rome, put the judge machine away. I'm going to throw a couple of taters at you after practice today.
You know what that's going to look like? It's going to look like that right there. Boom.
Just saying. Tim, you got anything else? We good, bub?
No, that's it. Yeah, I agree with Mrs. G. We were talking about that the other day. You see the chemistry that J Love has with Rome. And, if in fact we are going to go with Malik this week, hopefully they're getting those reps in practice and trying to build some rat-a-tat-tat little chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. So just so everybody knows, tomorrow we are going to be doing a Good Morning Lambo. All right.
What?
Yeah. So if the guys are available, great. I know Emilio will probably be working. Tim, if you're available, hop in here with me. We'll start to break down the lines a little bit. So we should go live at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. All right. There's a chance there won't be an evening show tomorrow because of the trick-or-treating festivities here.
You got that at night by you guys too? Afternoon? Yeah.
What I'm hoping will happen, we'll do a morning show. And I got to go run some errands. I got to go vote. Everybody get out and vote. All right. Go vote. I don't care who you vote for. Just make sure you freaking vote. Okay. And go vote. And then we'll try to get back and maybe do an early afternoon show instead of an evening show.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Trick-or-treating. Yeah. And I'll let you know the time there. So just a little preview for tomorrow. That in a minute. Hey, Good Morning Lambo's coming back, boys. It's no good.
A little preview of me in the morning.
Good morning.
And my old ass is going to wake up with a cup of coffee and stagger up the steps like this.
On my knee.
All right, so that's it. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you tomorrow morning for Good Morning Lambo. Thanks again to Jason Y for the super chat. You were awesome, buddy. Thanks to everybody in the Patreon group for contributing. Help me out here, Tim.
For those of you listening on the pod,
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Have a good night. Do whatever you want, all right? Bye. Bye.